Welcome to the Summer Food Service Program Training for Monitors, hosted by Oregon Department of Education Child Nutrition Programs. The SFSP provides nutritious meals to children during vacation periods that are similar to those offered under the National School Lunch and School Breakfast programs during the school year. Meals are provided to children 18 years of age or under. Meals are served at open, restricted open, or closed enrolled sites in areas where poor economic conditions exist. Meals may also be served at migrant feeding sites and residential and non-residential camps. The role of an SFSP monitor is of particular importance. As the key link between the sponsor and the site personnel, the monitor must make sure that the sites operate in accordance with program guidance and requirements. The direct link between the sponsor's office and the food service sites is essential to ensure that the program functions properly. As the sponsor's representative, the monitor must develop and maintain open communications and cooperative relationships with site supervisors and staff. The monitor will also work with the site staff to help correct any problems and give additional training as necessary. Open communication with the sponsor is essential so they're aware of any site problems and what is being done to resolve them. This will also provide opportunities for the sponsor to provide the monitor with any additional guidance needed. The sponsor is financially responsible for any meal served incorrectly or served to ineligible people. This could mean a substantial loss of reimbursement to the sponsor if problems at the sites are not corrected. The sponsor is required to hold annual training sessions on program duties for monitors and other sponsor personnel. Monitors can expect to be trained on the following: monitor duties and responsibilities, site visit and review forms and any other records such as mileage records, procedures for monitoring meal counts, adjusting meal preparation or deliveries, reporting complaints to the vendor, and collecting site records. The sponsor will assign the sites for which monitors will be responsible. The sponsor may choose to do it at the training or at some point before the monitor begins duties. Monitors may be asked to attend the training session required for site supervisors. This meeting will familiarize a monitor with the specific duties of site supervisors and allow them to meet the site supervisors with whom they will be working directly. Many people working at sites may not be familiar with operating food service programs, or they may not be accustomed to maintaining records. During the many reviews and visits, a monitor will find it necessary to explain the importance of following program rules and show how operations can be improved. This type of ongoing training of site personnel is a basic responsibility of each monitor. Aside from training the site supervisor, it may be necessary to give new site workers additional training and program requirements. It is important to document this training in the report. Effective monitoring is necessary for many reasons. Monitoring ensures that sites operate according to program rules and that accurate site records are available to justify payment to the sponsor, meaning a lowered likelihood of findings during an administrative review. Most importantly, monitoring ensures that children in the community are receiving nutritious meals. To be an effective monitor, it will be necessary to spend enough time at each assigned site to check the meal service operation. Therefore, it will be important to know the program requirements so problems at the sites can be identified quickly and solutions recommended. As an official representative of the sponsor, the monitor will be responsible for checking site operations to make sure that the sites maintain adequate and accurate records and that the program is operating in accordance with the requirements. Conducting site training as necessary, including training on the non-discrimination policy. Conducting pre-operational visits for new sites and sites that previously had issues. Within the first 2 weeks of operation, visiting all assigned sites required to have a visit to ensure that the food service is operating smoothly and that any needed adjustments are made or problems resolved. Reviewing food service operations of all assigned sites within the first 4 weeks of operation to thoroughly examine the meal service from start to finish, correcting problems and providing additional training where necessary. Additional responsibilities include revisiting sites as necessary, reconciling any discrepancies in meal counts and records with the site supervisor, suggesting corrective action to the site supervisor for problems encountered, preparing reports of the site visits and reviews, and ensuring that copies of the reports are included in an official file for each site, and informing the sponsor about problems found at a site and ensuring that corrective action is completed and documented. Now we're going to talk about site visits and site reviews. When monitors observe program operations at sites, they will usually make either a visit or a review. A site visit requires a monitor to ensure that the food service is operating smoothly and that any apparent problems are immediately resolved. A site review requires the monitor to determine if the site is meeting all the various program requirements. To accomplish this, a monitor will have to observe a complete meal service from beginning to end. The 3 types of visits and reviews required are: the first type is the pre-operational visit. Pre-operational visits are conducted for all new sites and those that experienced operational issues the previous year. The pre-operational visit is conducted before a site operates the summer program. These visits are required to determine that the sites have the facilities to provide meal service for the anticipated number of children in attendance and the capability to conduct the proposed meal service. The next type of visit is the site visit. All sites must be visited at least once during the first 2 weeks of operation. These visits are required to make sure the food service operation is running smoothly, and to verify information such as the site address, storage, holding and preparation facilities, and serving capacity. Please note, sponsors are required to visit all sites at least once during the first 2 weeks of operation. The first 2-week site visit requirement may be waived for returning sites that operated successfully during the previous summer in the SFSP and had no serious deficiency findings. It may also be waived for sites that participate successfully in the Child and Adult Care Food Program or the National School Lunch Program. Site reviews are slightly different from the visits. During the site review, the site monitor must observe delivery or preparation of meals, service of meals, children eating the meals, and cleanup after meals. All sites must be reviewed at least once during the first 4 weeks of program operations. If a site operates less than 4 weeks, the sponsor must still conduct a review before the site's operation end. The monitor should discuss any concerns or problems with the site supervisor and other site staff. Additionally, the monitor should instruct the site supervisor to call the sponsor's office immediately when help is needed and the monitor is not there. In conducting the site review, plan to arrive before the meal service begins and plan to observe the entire meal service. Check to see that the site's non-discrimination poster is placed in a prominent place and that all children have equal access to meals served. Conduct a point of service meal count and compare your counts with the site supervisor's meal count. Complete the site monitoring form and obtain the site supervisor's signature. On the form, thoroughly explain the specific nature and extent of any problems observed and the action to be taken to correct the problem. An in-depth discussion on conducting the site review is located in the Sponsor Monitor's Guide. The Sponsor Monitor's Guide describes the additional responsibilities that monitors have. The Monitor's Guide is located on the ODE CNP SFSP webpage and is linked to in the video's description. The monitor will check meals at the site to see that the meal pattern requirements are being met. These requirements ensure well-balanced, nutritious meals that supply the kinds and amount of foods that children require to meet their nutrient and energy needs. The monitor must make sure that the meal or snack service contains the required components for that meal or snack. At sites approved to utilize offer versus serve, the meals offered to participants must meet the meal pattern requirements shown in the chart on this page. However, participants are not required to take all the components offered. Summer Food Service Program Basics, Meal Service and Meal Pattern provides additional information on what reimbursable meals using offer versus serve look like. Check with administrative staff to know which, if any, sites will be utilizing offer versus serve. Sites cannot use offer versus serve if they are not approved for it. The monitor must make sure that the meals served at the sites meet the meal pattern requirements for components and portion sizes listed on this chart. The monitor must check that all meals are consumed on site in the designated area and that only allowable items are taken off-site if approved. The USDA Monitor's Guide provides additional information to evaluate during a site review. When observing the meal service at the site, keep in mind food safety rules, including temperature requirements. Knowing the 4 core messages of clean, separate, cook, and chill will help keep the food served safe to eat. For more information on sanitation and food safety, contact your local health department. During this session on monitors' responsibilities, record-keeping requirements and monitoring the meal pattern was discussed. For trainings on additional aspects of the SFSP, please refer to the SFSP Training Center on the ODE CNP public website. If you have any additional questions that were not addressed today, please reach out to your assigned child nutrition specialist. Here's a short message from the Oregon Department of Education. ODE supports equity and excellence for every learner and seeks to work with school districts, education service districts, and community partners like you. We believe all children should have access to a high-quality, well-rounded learning experience. This institution is an equal opportunity provider. Thank you for taking this training. We hope you found it helpful.